Hello, welcome. This is the introductory class for MGMT 3110 Introduction to Entrepreneurship and Creativity. Okay. I'm sorry that we're not meeting in person today due to the weather. But instead, I'm going to make this little video for you to cover some of the topics that we would be talking uh, about when we do meet. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. Okay, I know many of you, I think, but there's a number of you that I don't. My name is Hans Schoen. I have been teaching at Texas A&M Kingsville now for 11 years, and prior to that, I had uh, about 20, 30 years of industry experience. And that has been in large companies, it has been in relatively small companies, and it has been in companies that didn't exist because I was trying to start a company. Okay? I have experience in starting a company within a big company, which sometimes is called entrepreneurship. So at AT&T, which was a very, very large company, we created AT&T Universal Card Services that got AT&T into the banking industry in the credit card field. Okay, and later on, when I left that, I borrowed space. I went on halftime at AT&T Universal Card and borrowed space from an executive of mine, my former boss, who had borrowed space from a place called Touchdown Jacksonville. And we, the two of us, were in the process of starting a jet airline. He ended up dropping out because he got an offer to become CEO of a New York Stock Exchange company, traded company, IDEON Corporation. But we'll talk about that a little bit in this class as well. But I borrowed space from him, and he was borrowing space from this organization called Touchdown Jacksonville. You'll now know Touchdown Jacksonville as the Jacksonville Jaguars NFL team. I was physically in the building when Commissioner Tagliabue awarded the franchise, the expansion franchise to Jacksonville. I can tell you, there weren't people more surprised than the people in that room at the time. We had been lied to by Tagliabue and the NFL for the entire process, and that might be a story we'll talk about sometime during the class as well. You'll get a message here that I'm going to talk about stories a lot. You're going to hear a lot of stories in this class. And the interesting thing about entrepreneurship is that there's been a lot of study of what makes an entrepreneur, right? And there's a lot of people who try to pull together what makes them in common. And I've come to the conclusion the only thing that entrepreneurs have in common is that they have nothing in common. Everybody is very, very, very different. And what makes a successful entrepreneur is one that can build an organization around their strengths, around how they want to run a business, and how to build an organization despite their weaknesses, right? And figure out how to come across that. There is one little thing that is important for entrepreneurs, and that is a willingness to take risks, right? Entrepreneurs are Being an entrepreneur is different than working in a large company. You have the majority of the downside risk, you have the majority of the upside risk, right? And you need to be willing to take that. Now, in some instances, people voluntarily say, yeah, I'm, I'm a risk taker. I love to do that type of stuff. But sometimes we see entrepreneurs in coming from very poor sections of town where there are no other opportunities, and they are forced to accept the risks and embrace the risks that they're accepting, right? Because there aren't very many other alternatives. So then I want to say being an entrepreneur requires a mindset. Uh, Whether you're born in it or not, you know, yeah, there are books who say, yeah, that you aren't born an entrepreneur. I'm not 100% sure of that, right? Because I've got two kids, a son and a daughter, and they are very, very different. Okay? For the most part, they have the same upbringing. But when it comes to their willingness to take on risks and to become an entrepreneur, or their desire to do so, they are very, very, very different from each other, right? Which makes me kind of believe that, yeah, to some degree, you're born with a little bit of your streaks. So I'm not necessarily sure that I buy into the story of you're not, that you can be taught to be an entrepreneur, or that anyways. During this class, you're going to meet as many entrepreneurs as I can get in front of you, right? And I'm going to be successful in one of two ways. I will be successful in this class if at the end of taking it, you have concluded that you want to become an entrepreneur and run your own business, and that this is something that you are capable, willing, and want to do, right? I will be equally happy and equally feel like I have been a success in this class if I have talked you out of being an entrepreneur. If after this class you recognize you really don't want to be an entrepreneur, I'm glad I saved you from this, right? So, this is a class that I think is very, very interesting. You will meet a lot of people. You're going to meet a lot of very, very successful people, and you will be doing joint presentations with them. Oh, wait a minute. How are we going to do joint presentations with, all these folks? And the truth is, the vast majority of the people that I'm going to introduce you to, I have audio tapes of them giving a presentation. But the key indicator here is it's an audio tape. I don't have the PowerPoint slides that would have been behind them when they were giving these speeches to other entrepreneurs. Okay? I was given permission from the Entrepreneurship Institute to use these audio tapes for educational purposes, and that's what I'm going to do. And you are going to be, you're going to join them. And you will meet some very, very interesting people, and the thing that they have all in common is there's nothing that they have in common. They're all very different. Okay, what I'm hoping is during this semester is that you see a little of yourself in one or more of these individuals, and the light bulb can go off and say, hey, if they were able to find a way to make it successful, I'm not actually that different from them, right? And, I have every opportunity to do that. Okay? Now, this class is also going to have a textbook associated with it. We're not going to talk about the textbook much in class. This is what academics will call a flipped classroom. The idea here is that the stuff that you can learn on your own, which is reading the textbooks, right? Have you guys do that stuff at home, and we will use class time to talk through and listen to all these different presentations that you can't learn in books easily, right? So this is, I think, one of the most interesting classes that I teach. I enjoy these classes immensely, and I hope you do too. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to keep it short for today, and I look forward to introducing myself and getting to know those of you who I don't already know in person. This is a larger class than we typically have. I think back in the past, we used to teach this every year. It's now in every other year, so the class has, for those that are interested, has grown a bit. Anyways, we'll make it work, and it's going to be an interesting, fun time. With that, I'm going to leave it early, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody Thursday. Meanwhile, stay out of the rain. Certainly when you're driving, be very careful. Don't drive through roads that are flooded. Okay, it doesn't take much to lift up your car and send it down the road. Right? Your car is essentially a boat if the water gets high enough. Anyways, be safe. And it's been raining. I'm here in Portland, Texas, in Corpus Christi, and it's been raining here most of the morning. We haven't had too bad. The weather hasn't been too bad, but I've seen from the radar that it's been much worse in the direction toward Kingsville and further south toward the Rio Grande Valley. So wherever you happen to be, just bunker down, enjoy the day off, and I'm done talking now, so you can enjoy the rest of your afternoon. We'll see everybody Thursday. Bye-bye.